Hello, everyone. My guest today is Pete Lamson. He is focused on building a company called JazzHr. He's also a results-oriented executive with a 25-year history of strategic metrics-driven approaches to accelerating revenue. He's focused on the global small business market with deep experience in B2B high-velocity new customer acquisition. As CEO of JazzHr, Lamson is responsible for JazzHr's strategic direction, company performance, day-to-day operations, and serves as a support center for his revenue teams. Pete, you ready to take us to the top?
It's great to be here again, Nathan, and yes, I am.
All right. So JazzHr, folks missed that first episode. What are you selling to people?
So we provide recruiting solutions for small businesses, which we define as companies with between 25 and 500 employees. And what we do is we replace, in our target market, most customers are using some version of Microsoft Office, which is Excel docs and Word documents and email inbox management. So we replace that with a very simple to use software solution that is very affordable, easy to use, and with industry leading support.
So is this sort of workflow and admin management for SMBs, or helping them hire, or both?
Helping them hire.
Helping them hire. Okay, so the obvious question anyone listening is going, well, wait a second. What's Pete doing now? No small businesses are hiring right now, or at least most aren't because of the virus.
So I think it depends on where you're looking. In fact, we have had the most new jobs posted by JazzHr's customers in the history of our company just the past month in July.
What was that number? How many posted?
Just over 40,000.
Wow. Okay, well, wait. So this is completely different than what I would have predicted the data would say. So what are you seeing when you dive into some of those 40,000 applications? What are you seeing?
So it's in the areas you might, when you hear them, they're sort of intuitive. So we're seeing a hiring explosion in things like logistical support. All the companies and people that are involved in those trucks coming down all of our driveways every single day with the things we need to work from home. We're seeing a lot of work in healthcare. We're seeing a lot of hiring in technology. So the hiring is shifted away from some industries, tragically, such as restaurants and retail stores and fitness centers and so forth. But there are jobs being created elsewhere, and by the data we're seeing, literally at record levels.
And help me understand what a small business might pay you to use your platform. What do they pay on average per month?
Yeah, so our account average is a little under $200 per month.
Okay, so very consistent.
It's designed to be affordable. Yeah. Our pricing starts as little as just $39 a month, so you can get the ball rolling in an even more affordable way. But average is, like I said, a little under $200 per month.
And launch date for the company was what year?
2009.
And you came on what year?
Tail end December of 2015.
Okay, got it. And we covered, guys, how Pete came in a last interview back from March 28, 2018. So we won't dive into that today. But give us an update. Pete, when you came on last, you guys had just broken about 3,500 customers. What are you at today?
Just under 7,000.
Wow. Okay, so incredible. Where did most of that growth come from over the past 2 years?
In terms of industry or by channel, or answer it?
However you define it.
So, I'll answer both ways. So we're industry agnostic. We do have clusters of industries or verticals that are largely focused around where hiring has taken place over the last few years. So we see a lot of work in manufacturing. We see a lot of work or a lot of hiring in technology, healthcare, financial services, nonprofit, just to name a few. But no one vertical within our business is more than 5% of our business. So it's a really nice even distribution, which candidly in a time like this also gives us some downside protection.
That's right.
And then in terms of how we're acquiring them, when I joined JazzHr, we sold only through direct means. So in other words, kind of the one-to-one relationship of JazzHr to a small business customer. We launched indirect sales or channel sales not long thereafter, and that today is almost 50% of our new business and growing. I would expect it would be more than 50% by end of this year or beginning of next. And what that allows us to do is move beyond the one-to-one nature of our direct customer acquisition, which is still important and we remain 100% committed to the one-to-many nature of channel or indirect relationships. So we partner with a number of different human capital management, and payroll companies who in turn offer JazzHr to their customer bases.
And whether you're acquiring via a channel or direct via paid spend or something else, a bunch of writers doing great SEO work, when you look at your sort of your fully weighted blended CAC, what would you put it at to get a $200 a month customer?
So we are right now just under a 12-month kind of payback. So we're a little just about $2,000.
Yeah. Are you happy with that?
Not unhappy. I mean, I think it always can be better, and that part of our move from direct to indirect is in fact to impact that. I mean, there's no free lunch, but for indirect, what typically happens if you do it well is your CAC will go down, but you're shifting that CAC to success-driven revenue share. So it's a more efficient use of a cost of capital. So your CAC goes down, your gross margins go down too because you're paying a rev share, as does your ARPU if you're thinking at it on a net basis. But that's a driver of our continued improvement. Will continue to be a move towards indirect, which not only as drives CAC, but also increases velocity of acquisition.
Diving deeper on this indirect channel strategy that you launched about 18 months after you joined the company, so about 2016, and now is responsible for more than 50% of your business. We just had Sachin Gupta.
Almost 50%.
Almost 50%. Okay. We just had Sachin Gupta on with HackerEarth, and he articulated how that company is now growing. They're about to break $5 million in ARR. They've passed, he told us, 500 customers, super healthy economics in terms of retention. You just launched a partnership with them. How's that work?
I'm sorry, the company again is?
HackerEarth.
Yeah. So I can't comment on the, I'll tell you everything that you might want to know about our business. I'm not going to talk about anyone else's business. That's kind of, that starts to get into territory that I wouldn't share. But certainly, we have some partners that perform more than others. Partnerships typically do take a little bit of time to get up to speed, but we're dedicated to helping all of our partners perform as best as they can.
Got it. Sorry. And maybe this is because Chuck Brownfield is the one quoted in this press release saying, "We're thrilled to integrate with HackerEarth to empower teams to hire talented engineers faster." What I'm trying to get at here is, with this a real idea of a channel partner or HackerEarth, what does that actually look like? So are they putting a button for JazzHr inside of HackerEarth or vice versa? What is it? How does it actually work?
So it varies partner by partner. And we allow them to offer JazzHr to their customers either on a resale or a referral basis. So whichever they're more comfortable with. So in all cases, there'll be generally some form of recruiting promotion on their website, and that their sales teams will be offering to their customers. Their customers either then are referred to us, in which case then we would work with their customer. If their customer chooses to purchase, then pay them a revenue share in perpetuity. For the business
it's in perpetuity. Wow. Okay.
It's in perpetuity. Yeah. As long as their customers are paying us, we are paying them. We don't limit it after a 12-month period.
Do you have any clause in that agreement? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but do you have any? I mean, one of the things I talk to VCs all the time about just margin improvement in businesses, and one quick way to get margin improvement in a business, obviously if there's channel partners, a big chunk of it, is to have a clause in that channel partner agreement, all your channel partner agreements, that say you have the right to buy out that rev share for a forward-looking 12 months at any point in time. That way, if you go out and raise $30 million, you essentially buy back whatever your rev share is with that partner, so 30% margin, right, for a forward-looking 12 months. Do you have that clause built into your channel partner agreements or no?
No.
You don't.
And we wouldn't. I mean, yes, mathematically that will work and it'll look good in a spreadsheet. And yes, you will improve your gross margin short term. It's also a great way to limit sales.
Yeah.
I mean, because after a period of time, that partner can just switch to a competitor of ours. Yeah. We use it as a retention strategy where they get to the point where they're getting a nice chunk of change from us every month, and it builds up over time. If they leave us, they're walking away from that, and it takes time for them to rebuild that with someone else. So it's a benefit we're delighted to offer. And then the second way that we sell is, of course, resell. And if our partners who are reselling, which would include ADP and others, what they effectively do is they're purchasing a JazzHr subscription at a discount from our retail price, and then they mark it up or not at however much they choose to do so and resell to their customers. So in that case, there is the button or a pure e-commerce solution that resides on our partner pages.
Now, Pete, 7,000 customers at about 190, $200 a month. I mean, it sounds like you guys have broken about a 1.3, $1.4 million per month now in terms of MRR.
Yeah, I mean, we're just under 7,000, but that's your numbers are correct.
Okay, which is great growth, right? When you came back on in early 2018, you were at about an $8.5, $9 million run rate. So nice growth. What is that, about 90% growth? Have you done this with the capital you'd already raised at that point? You had raised $26.6 million back then. Did you raise more capital?
We have not raised any additional capital.
Oh, wow. That's great. I was expecting you to say you'd raise a bunch more.
No, we run the business at cash flow break even. We could be cash flow positive if we chose to, but we plow everything we can back into the business to drive additional growth.
That's great. So, what's the team look like today?
Should I say that again?
I said that. I just was saying that's great. Being at break even. What's the team look like today? How many people?
80 employees.
80. How many engineers?
That's a good question. I'll say low 20s, but I'm kind of guessing.
Low 20s, fair enough. And obviously, this price point does not lend itself usually to an inside sales team because the ACVs aren't high enough to give commission. Do you have quota-carrying sales reps on the team?
We do.
You do? Okay. So I'd love to learn about that. How many do you have, and how does that work?
So we've got, I'll say, again, I can't give you, I mean, I would give you exact numbers. I just don't know them on the top of my head. I'll say we've got probably 12 or 13 inside sales reps.
Okay.
And they're broken across our direct and indirect teams. So their day-to-day activities are a little bit different, but with our direct team, it's entirely an inbound model. So our marketing team is driving customers to JazzHr, where they can do a number of things. They can download a white paper, they can participate in a webinar, they can watch videos. But ultimately, what we really hope they will migrate towards is beginning a free trial or request a product demonstration. And that's when our sales team really leans in. And we have found that with the addition of a sales team, the lift in conversion rate more than covers the investment we're making in those sales staff. And on top of it, our North Star is customer lifetime value. So if we look at the expense of a sales team, of a quota-carrying sales team, to bring in a customer who's going to stay with us for 10 years-ish on average, it's more with that through that lens. It's more than worth the investment. We don't look at it purely as the revenue we bring at the time of the initial sale, because our retention metrics are such that people tend to stick with us for a long time. So the math works.
Yep. Speaking about lifetime value, obviously churn is critical to this. It's part of that lifetime value equation. Last time you came on in 2018, you told me annual revenue churn was about 12%. So actually fairly low, I would say, for this price point in this cohort. Is it still at around 12% or has it changed?
It's actually a little, our net retention now is about 0.8% per month. I'm sorry, 0.8 churn, not retention, churn. Sorry.
Got it. So your gross churn per month or your net churn?
Our net churn.
Net churn per month is, let's just call it 1%.
We're sub 1% net churn per month.
So you're under 12%. Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Can you peel back that onion though for me, because you have expansion revenue added to churn, and that's where you get the one. So can you give me those two metrics?
So for on a gross basis, our gross churn right now is still at about that 12% number.
Okay.
And our net is 1% per month, a little over 1% per month. And I mean, we're in the 1.2s generally. And then our net is when because of expansion revenue, which we define as both add-on sales and upgrades, is where it drops down below 1%.
I see. Got it. So you've got, if I just multiply times 12 to do annual, you've got about 12% gross revenue churn annually, maybe a little above 12%. You've got about 5 or 6% expansion. So your net revenue retention is right around 97, 98%.
Yep.
Not bad for this price point. Do you see a path to getting that above 100% net revenue retention with some maybe higher priced products or upsells?
Net negative churn is, of course, the holy grail for SaaS companies. Easy to say, hard to do in the SMB market, as you suggested. So I hope so. Certainly, that's what we keep marching towards as best we can. We continue to make progress towards it. I don't know if we'll get there or not, but every 10th of a point of progress we make adds value to the company and to our customers. So I hope we can get there. But even if we don't, it is an effort worth pursuing, because even if we get halfway there from where we are now, we're better off.
Still better off. Yep. All right, Pete, let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
Well, my favorite hasn't changed. I think it's still The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Number two, is there a founder that you really respect or admire?
I'll say Dave Maffei with Akumina.
Maffei. Okay, great. Number three, what's your NAFF what?
EI.
EI. Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building Jazz?
It's evolved right now. Sisense.
Sisense. I haven't heard of those guys.
They used to be Periscope.
Oh, got it. Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
7.5.
Okay, not bad. And situation, married, single, kids?
Married.
Married. How many kiddos? Any kids?
3.
3. Oh, a busy guy. All right. How old are you?
57.
57. Last question. What do you wish you knew when you were 20?
That's a great question. I'll say push yourself harder.
Guys, there you have it. JazzHr, again, helping SMBs get their hiring needs taken care of. They serve almost 7,000 customers, up from, call it 3,500 just about 20-ish months ago. So nice growth without raising additional cash. They're break even today with 26.6 million raised, approaching a $16 million run rate as they continue to drive growth even during COVID, with one of their record months happening just last month. 40,000 new applications coming through their system in just 1 month. Pete, congrats on the growth and thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them, and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.